colleagues have set a really high standard here. I hope you're feeling strong this afternoon. Vajira's topic is investigating the impact of real-time ride sharing on the sustainability of regional tourism destinations, a multi-criteria assessment approach. So if you'd like to share your screen, Vajira, and good luck. Looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. We can see you.
Yes. My topic is that investigating the impact of real-time ride sharing on the sustainable ability of regional tourism destinations. The problem for this research, once we look at that regional tourism, we notice that the numbers getting increased and the getting demand for regional tourism. I'm talking about before the COVID situation. At the moment, the situation a bit different, but before that, I started this research. In the meantime, that overall regional tourism are getting popular and they're increasing the numbers. However, they had a real problems for the transportation. So the solution for the transportation to look at that what are the public transport options available in regional areas. The regional areas, you know, that transportations are limited and the public transport have very limited facilities, and ride sharing, which real-time ride sharing is another option to look at for getting the solution for this problem. So that the problem was that how regional tourism transportation issue resolved through the real-time ride sharing. The background of the research, regional tourism in Australia, outside of Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Brisbane, Canberra, and Adelaide, that all other areas that the core regional areas, and we noticed that with the literature and some government data showing that more than 60% of tourist activities based on the regional areas. For this research, I selected two regional areas, which is Noosa in Queensland, that the Noosa approximately 2.36 million visitors in 2016 records. In another destination was Byron Bay, which also the very popular regional tourism destination, self-contained and means purely the area running through with the tourism industry, Byron Bay in New South Wales. The background of the research, the study, the regional areas, as I told, that the many visitors comes and the transportations are limited, and the transportations mainly we could see in those regional areas, the buses, trains, and taxis. However, last 10 years period, the ride sharing service also expand to that regional areas. What is this real-time ride sharing means? That you know that the ride sharing means people, if anyone share their ride with another person or going together, the whole ride sharing. Ride sharing has many different forms, the basically 6 forms: carpooling, van pooling, the long distance, ride sharing, sort of like these type of different categories in the ride sharing. So basically what the purpose of the ride sharing is the using unutilized or underutilized resources in transportations to using for traveling. Basically, the person instead of person going along in car, sharing that his car with other one or more people. Real-time ride sharing means the 15 years ago that with the technology development that the apps, the mobile applications came to the market to matching demand, the demand and supply of the riders and drivers through the ride sharing platform, real time, same time. So basically, if someone looking to travel from A to B and another person driving to the same time in A to B, the system or the ride sharing applications matching those that supply and demand together the straight away and put them in the one car and send them completing the journey. So that's the ride sharing. Ride sharing means real time, the market supply and demand matching through the mobile platform or mobile application. The sustainability in regional tourism means, if I look at the literature, I notice that the primary challenge of regional sustainability in regional tourism to managing the tourism industry, that economically, social and environmentally, and giving a good experience for visitors, and also that giving a much better environment for the residents. This sustainability that once I look at that sustainability, the literature, I notice that it's not a easy complex. It's not the normal complex. The concept, it is a bit of a complex with the literature, current literatures. It's involved for not a one pillars, that the different pillars, different factors. Together they talking about the sustainability. So what we did, and I used that multi-criteria assessment technique to assess those pillars or those areas to assessing the sustainability in this research. The knowledge gap in here, that according to literature, I noticed that there's a knowledge gap, and the most of literature talking about ride sharing or the ride sharing benefits or or their disadvantages. However, they didn't discuss about that how ride sharing is sustainable to the society, or how ride sharing using, or how we use that ride sharing in sustainable way to the society. With this research, I thought that it's giving few contributions. One for theoretical contributions, which is that I had to prepare the theoretical framework for assessing the social, economic, and environmental sustainability of ride sharing, real-time ride sharing in regional tourism destinations, because that there's no any literature shows that the theoretical framework for assessing the real-time ride sharing so far. And another thing, the practical contribution from the research. So far, there's a debate going on that society, and because this is a bit of new concept, the ride sharing to most of societies, most of economies. In Australia, the many states now legalize the real-time ride sharing, but some states still discussing what the solutions for to running or keep this real-time ride sharing in the state. So I hope this research is important for, especially for the local state governments and social groups, and also that the local residents, drivers, riders, and especially those type of real-time ride-sharing companies, the Uber, Didi, like these type of international companies, and also I noticed that many local ride-sharing services also came to the market, especially based in regional areas in the last 10 years period. So this research giving a benefit for all of them as well. The research question, the main research question is, what is on the impact of sustainability of real-time ride sharing in regional tourism destination? We're looking exactly impact, how real-time ride sharing giving an impact for sustainability in regional tourism destinations. And sub questions were first, what are the dimensions and sub-dimensions to access the sustainability of real-time ride sharing in regional tourism destinations, and how do multiple real-time ride sharing stakeholders perspectives the dimensions and sub-dimensions of access the sustainability of real-time ride sharing. Actually, in here I need to mention one thing. I forget to tell that one before. In this research, how I plan this, of course, we're looking at how real-time ride sharing influence to sustainability of real-time regional tourism destinations. In expert stakeholder view, this research focused using stakeholder views, stakeholder ideas to get the measuring or to look at that how the real-time ride sharing influence to regional tourism destinations. The third question was, what ways can regional tourism, real-time ride sharing support or contribute to the sustainability of regional tourism destinations? So those are the three sub-questions in this research. The literature, if I go through with the many literatures, and I first I look at that how sustainability and sustainability concepts and what are the theories associated with the sustainability. In the meantime, that majority of the literatures which focus sustainability have been used triple bottom line approach, and I also that get this approach for as an underpinning theory of this research. And the majority of the literatures use Sustainable Society Index to assess this sustainability, and also Index of Tourism Sustainability to assessing in multidimensional view to get that result of how the sustainability work. In literature review, I focus how the regional tourism destinations and sustainability discussed on that literature, and also the real-time ride sharing and sustainability literatures, and also real-time ride sharing and regional tourism literatures. Regional tourism destinations and sustainability. In this section, I noticed that many the dimensions and subdimensions the research used for measuring the sustainability in regional tourism destinations. I will show you that the table of that dimension and subdimensions, which I summarize. I think you can see my screen, and these are the dimensions. And actually we noticed that the most of the literature use same dimensions, which is economics, social, culture, environmental, and some other few the dimensions, kind of like a technology sort of things, but it was very rare. The majority of research use economic, social, and environmental. Under those dimensions, sub-dimensions were these things. And for example, economics, traffic congestions, infrastructure cost, consumer cost, sort of like these sub-dimensions they used to their research. The real-time ride-sharing and sustainability, once we look at those areas, especially in the real-time ride-sharing, we notice that the main 6 characters, according to the one of our literature, which is a dynamic option, rider-driver connecting very shortly, the independent, that driver and riders are fully independent, this model. Cost sharing, it's the dynamic phase structures. It is not that static structures in there. The not recurring jobs, they're focusing the single jobs all the time. Pre-arranged, that we can pre-arrange that one, or real time we can arrange that job, and automated matching. These are the main characters. Talk about many literatures about real-time ride sharing. And the real-time ride sharing and sustainability literatures, that they focus that the economic outcomes, social outcomes mainly, rather than environmental outcomes that the literature at the moment we have. So basically they focus only two major pillars, which is social and economic sustainability. In a real-time ride-sharing and regional tourism research articles, that it shows that how real-time ride-sharing operating in regional tourism, but it was very rare that I didn't get that more than 20 research papers, especially real-time ride-sharing in regional tourism areas, the areas based. The one research that shows that the key elements of that real-time ride-sharing operating in tourism industry were first, easily accessible, second, the background check, third, fair estimate, fourth, detailed information, fifth, identification of vehicle and drivers, six, flexible payments, seven, low price, eight, time saving, nine, more productive, 10, customer service and quality control. Those are the key elements, the ride sharing getting popular in regional tourism destinations. Actually, it's talking about those are the key elements for ride sharing getting popular in the tourism industry, including regional tourism destination. So with all this literature, these are the four the knowledge gap I explored in a current literature. First, lack of scholar empirical research on the sustainable of real-time ride sharing, lack of scholarly empirical research into real-time ride sharing in regional tourism destinations. Third, lack of framework explaining sustainability of real-time ride sharing. Fourth, lack of framework explaining sustainable real-time ride sharing in place-based tourism or the regional tourism destinations. With those the knowledge gap, I proposed the conceptual framework with the three main dimensions and 21 subdimensions and the indicators along with those two. These are the economic dimensions and subdimensions, the social and environmental. This is kind of the framework. Initially, I prepared from the literature. However, according to the research plan, this is just the skeleton of the conceptual framework in this research. And what we do, we have that stakeholder interview first stage, which is selecting that few stakeholders, the numbers somewhere around 7 to 10 stakeholders, and I'm giving this the framework for them and verifying with them with their ideas what are the especially subdimensions and indicators we have to use for to look at sustainability of real-time ride sharing. So the framework going to build with the two stage. One is with the the literature review. Second stage with the expert, stakeholder expert judgments. The methodology I'm using in here, interpretivism, and it's a ontological philosophical approach in here, and epistemology philosophy of this research is doing the research interviews about real-time ride-sharing contribution for the regional tourism destinations through expert stakeholder judgments. This research, I used that mono-methodological choice and qualitative research method to collecting the data. Data collection, using that in-depth interview of expert stakeholders, and especially face-to-face or telephone interviews in semi-structured type. And I'm using quota sampling techniques to get the sample. The categories of the stakeholders, including local council administration, local businesses, local environmental bodies, rideshare drivers, and other public drivers, public transport drivers, residents, and tourists. 21 participants in each locations, which is the Nusa and Byron Bay, total of 42 sample going to be used for this research.
Excuse me, Vajira, we just have a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And today's data analysis that I'm using SPSS mainly for assessing this data. Ethical considerations, and basically I use that the Southern Cross University ethical the guidelines to conducting this research. That's all. This is my research actually that I'm doing, Doctor of the Business Administration, so, the professional doctorate, and I'm also one of the co-founder of one of a real-time ride-sharing company in Australia that I think somewhere around 6 or 7 Australian companies operating in the market. So I also was a co-founder of one of a company. So that's the reason I selected this topic. It is very related to me, and I can get that more practical and data other than the literatures. So that's why I selected. Thank you.
Vajira, thank you so much. That was really interesting. It's one of the things about participating in these types of conferences is that people like me get to see research on areas we don't even know exist. And so I found this really, really interesting, and I can see the need for it. And I can see the flexibility and adaptability that this type of project can offer to help regional tourism. Really interesting stuff. Thank you so much. So does anyone have any questions to ask of Vajira? I do, if no one else does yet. My first question was going to be how you got into this area, but I think you explained that at the end where you said you're involved in a business in this area. How does this differ from Uber?
Actually, the Uber is one of a real-time ride-sharing service, the company. The real-time ride-sharing, actually that concept came purely with the social objective, which is, and they what they're trying to do, as I explained, with this concept that the concept tried to use not that new resources, rather than new resources, using that underutilized or unutilized resources. And for example, like Airbnb, and instead of using a new resources, they're using that underutilized resources. Same like that one. When that we noticing the cars running on the road with the one passenger, and another 4 seats or maybe 6 seats are the free. And rather than sending the 2 cars in the same way, why we can't use that one car with those 2 passengers together? That's the concept. However, once the technology developed, and also once that the private companies adapting that technology, what they implemented this one as a commercial model. So the Uber type of a service that came result of that. So now what was happened, the real-time ride sharing now is not anymore the social concept, because it's break that the fundamentals, which is that not using the new resources. What happened now, the same like a taxis, many new drivers comes with the new cars to the market, only purpose to the driving and drop the passengers, rather than they going for that A to B and dropping another person. Now they using that one as a business or as an income the source. So that's the thing. So that now it is quite unclear to the market what is actual ride sharing, real-time ride sharing, and what is the Uber.
Yes. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? I still have a couple of questions if no one else has any questions.
Yeah.
So you have, I think you said here, you're thinking where this is localized. So if someone's at Noosa and they want to go up to Maleny for the day or something, but also if there are a couple of backpackers in Sydney and they want to get to Byron, they might do something like this too. In terms of, say they were female backpackers and they wanted to get in a car with someone they didn't know for 8 hours, in terms of security for the customers, how do you address this?
Yes, I think it's talking kind of like it's in literature, it's talking about strangers traveling together, kind of like that. And yes, there are some criticism for those things, but some people argue that this ride sharing is more safer than taxis. For example, taxi, if you catch the taxi on on the road, we don't know who is the driver, and we don't know about his service and how the quality of service. We don't know anything. But if we're using that ride sharing, the platform like Uber type of things, we know about who is the driver and how was the rating, which is indicating that how is that they are the service behaviors before, everything people can see.
Yes.
And so in that case they're telling it's just this type of a service is safer than the previous traditional transportation service. However, there's a lot of the negative externalities also there, and the newspapers and some So yes, newspapers and news there that with the many murder cases, rape cases also associate with the real-time ride sharing at the moment in some societies.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I've done a bit of traveling, and sometimes I'd like to go somewhere, but you know, off the beaten track, it can be difficult or expensive. So this is a very interesting concept you have here. Very interesting. So
Yeah, I think that the another very good things noticed on the market previously. Taxis dominate the market, and they are the they don't, there's no any alternative for the taxis rather than, I mean, like we can't use sometime the public transport or the bus or the trains instead of taxis. There's no any options, alternatives for the taxis. In meantime, the standard of the taxis were very the low and very poor. But at the moment that they also had a real competition on the market and pay with the real-time ride sharing. If they not provide the better service, they're going to die. And now we notice their standard also increased with this option. So there's a lot of positive externalities came through this concept. However, still we don't know, nobody researched whether this concept is sustainable or not, because we know about some positive outcomes, we know about negative outcomes. They talk about different occasions and different papers or the news, especially only the newspapers, not in academic as academic research.
very interesting. Yeah. So you're a pioneer. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. Very, very interesting.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions at all? If we don't, I think we can draw the session to an end. I want to thank the three speakers, all very interesting information. I'm very, very grateful to all of you for presenting.